ओके हो गया। हो गया। Let me change my position. We are live. Okay. Okay, guys. Good evening to all of you. Today we would be learning about Linux again. So today, instead of using over-the-wire war game, we would be using Tryhackme, and here we would be using the room Learn Linux. It is a free room, and hence you could all just go set up your account on Tryhackme and then just like get to this room. So I guess you have already tried learning this room on your own, and hereby you have not come just to see the solution. If you are stuck, try some commands and see if you can work through it. Also, this video is probably made to make sure that you learn about more tricks or types of commands you could be using. So that is why this video is made, and not made for purposes where you are like just cheating to get this room done instead of like working it out. So let's get started. And just before I get to the first room, I hope all of you have subscribed to the channel first. Guys, and that numbers does not mean much, but it really motivates us to do this hard work all. So okay, so let's get to the first task, and here it is. This room is designed to teach you about Linux concepts and tools. Because of this room expects no prior knowledge. The only expectation this room has is an eagerness to learn and a willingness to Google if you are stuck. See, this is what they mean, like you should be running man command or like searching on the Google for the solution, and not just like coming on this video and solving these without even reading what they have written. So this room has a natural flow to it. However, if you are experienced in Linux and just want a refresher on a specific topic, you can jump around as it need to be. And I will try to insert
Increase
timestamps.
voice.
So I would try to like insert timestamps so that you could just like come there and just check for the solution you are needing to. So there is no answer required for the solution, just end it. Now let's go to the task 2, which is methodology. So after careful consideration, I have deemed the best way to go about this is introduce various concepts in sections, which each section being more complex and requiring knowledge from the previous section. To better enable the transition between sections, I have split each section into different users in the VM. When you finish a section, you will have to complete a challenge. And okay, so here is it. So SSH is this is the first command which we would be running after setting up our Linux box. So this is SSH, which allows us to run commands interactively on a remote machine. I think this is the most used remotely accessing way. So this is done through the use of a program on the target machine, which allows the SSH client to interface with the target host. While most common usage of regular operating system is graphical, which is GUI based, but SSH does work through command line, so it was just like command prompt. So it is nothing such that. So let's just go through it. Okay, done. So here, okay, so now there are two ways to do SSH. So like you could just use the software known as putty, which is PUTTY. TTY stands for talking terminal something. So you could use putty if you are on a Windows based machine, or if you are on a Linux, you could just directly use the command SSH. So we would be skipping this putty configuration because it is made for Windows. Let's just skip it. and here we are. Okay, so here is the syntax to go through, like how to connect to this machine, which is our IP for today, via SSH. So I would be opening my terminal right here. So I am on the desktop and I have connected to the access package. Please make sure you have connected to the THM web server. So we would be doing SSH shiba1 at the rate the IP, which is 10.10.26.158, and just press enter. Yes, we want to continue connecting, entering the password, which is shiba1l again. Okay. I have a typo right here. Okay. Shiba. Okay, we are connected. So let's just go and read what all it is written. So okay, that's it. You can now run this command interactively. I would show it to you. Wait a minute. Okay, so here we are. Control. So shiba1 at the nut. I just pressed Control plus L to move the current line to the top. All of this is above right here. Also, you could use clear, which just clears the terminal like that. It clears everything and then enters a long, like blank space, which makes sure that this command comes on the top. Now just roam around in here. You would be using ls cd dot dot pwd and cd home. This again, cd shiba1 ls and lsal to list the permissions. Then you have all the permissions for shibax. Let's just execute it, shiba1, and nothing happens much. So let's just cat it, and it is something which is beyond what we thought. Let's just control that again, and let's get back here. So let's get to the next task, which is echo. Okay, so now we have logged into the server. You want to do things here. To start off, we'll do basic commands. First command will be echo. Type echo hello and see how echo. Okay, so this command just is similar to print command. If you have used C, C++, C, or Python, this command is similar to that. Printf, and cout. So echo command is for bash. So you could like for example in Python you would be writing print and then hello, and this would be printing hello. However, we are in a bash environment, and hence we would be using this command, which corresponds to bash, and hence we would my bad, echo hello. Like if you would be using Python, you could just do like print hello. I guess that's okay. It's not okay. So you could do something like just okay. No, that does not work. There's something else command which makes you run these commands directly from here, which does a single line interface for Python. So that we would come to that in future lectures. So now for the current lecture, let's get back to what we were teaching. We were teaching the command echo, and this you could just learn bash along with it. So like if you are needing to print anything like enter your age, so you could just enter, this would echo the same thing. So this is how echo works. Then there are commands like echo and -e. This escapes whatever you have written, like for example enter, or enter, \n your \n age, and let me press enter. So here, right here, would get enter, and then this escape sequence /n takes it to the next line, and then print space your right here. Then this this escape sequence takes this thing to the next line. So this is how you could do echo. And then these are I think these are like universal. They work same for each language, like Python, C++. They work same in every language. So these are nothing new. So I think you would be knowing about that. So here was the first command. So we just learned about echo. Also, I don't think there's much to echo apart from E or similar things. Let me find something for you. Just a minute, guys. If I am able to find that, yes. There's another thing. Okay, so there's another which is \n, and I guess it does not. Yes, it skips the end line character. So if you do not use this, then if you and then press enter, so you would be coming into a next line, and then automatically a new line thing would be inserted right here, and the next command would start from the next line. However, if you use this -n, then the next new line character would be omitted, and you would just like enter, and then same line you would be starting your new command. So this is how it works. So that is all to echo. I don't think there's much to it. So let's just move to the new next task. So if you are making notes, just make sure you write this, that echoes everything, or like prints everything onto the monitor. So, and there you could be using -e to use the escape sequences, or -n to like skip the new line character. So let's just skip this and get back to where we were. So we just use echo and question done. Let's go to next. So now this is the man page command. So we have read about this in our previous videos if you have checked that out over the wire, but like let's just read about it. So we got a lot of information, but the flags are stored in the description section. For example, the flag to new line is -n. This is what I just taught you. So to output Shiba without the new line, you would echo Shiba. Some commands support the h flag, which commands of list. So -h is for help. So you could like just echo -h. Some commands are there. So I don't think echo does this. Nah, echo does not. Echo just so for echo you could be using man echo. So here these are, so -n, -e, and help. So this should be working, but there must be some problem. So these are escape sequences, then these are octal values, hexadecimal values, and there's nothing much to it. Okay, so we just read man and we just quickly did this challenge. There's nothing much to it, or like you have to go. So now comes the ls command, which is the like you can't just view directories or the contents of a directory without using the ls command. So let's just ls. This does a basic ls and tells you about the file which is not hidden, or just a basic file in the current working directory or the present working directory. To know more about all the files, let's just this tells you about all the files, like hidden files which start with a dot. So bash history, bash logout, bash rc, cache, gnupg, local or profile. These are shown to you by a. Now if you want to see your output as a list, so you could go like al or la. So this does like list all, or you're like al. If you're using al, then all list. So here are all the files in a listed format with like permissions, and this is, I don't exactly know what this is, and then all all these things like right here. That's all, and there's nothing much to ls I have ever used uh, in my past year, in 1 year of experience of using Linux. So these are the commands I use for most of the time for Linux, for ls. And if you want to know more, like this help, and here are all these things you could be using. And there was this command recursive here, right? So this can like list subdirectories recursively. This could like go into directories if found, and then like run ls there, and then if it founds more directories, then it could run ls right in them. So let's just try. If we here and okay, so here it is. It showed you the contents of the directory for the present working directory. Then it went into cache, which is another directory inside this directory, and then it erased that. Then it went to the next directory and then showed its content, then went to the next directory, and so on and so forth. So then it found this folder in this directory, and it went into this now, and then it went into local, share, nano, and so on and so forth. So these are the three commands I basically use. So you could just write it. I'm giving you a time, so you can like lsa, lsla, and then recursive. And where was recursive? Okay, here it is, lsalr. Okay, so these help in enumeration. This particular r also you could be like you could say like using the pipe command to grep something out of all these. So you could just like ls and then cat and then grep, or just ls and then grep. So it would be fine to like, it would be give you very thing like most of the things in like minutes of time. So let's just go on to the next command, which is cat, and cat stands for catenate. And then let's just cat, okay, so like cat and Shiva1 should be doing something, but it is nothing such. So let's just, to show something, I would go back to my PC, and here it is. Let's go and find something. Okay, we let's use this as a like for a stock to just learn about this. Cat and pass text. So using this extension right here, or attribute, you could just number these to know about how many number of lines there are in this line. Also, if you just go like cat pass, and these are without the indentation and without these numbers. So this is most about cat. I don't think there is much to know about it. However, if you want to know how to use like if there are like escapes in between this file name or some various file name or like varied file name, then there is the over the wire video which you can refer to know about more. I don't think there is much in cat itself to know. So let's just move on to the next command, which is touch. Touch is used to create a file. So you could just like think they have touch. Let's touch default.txt. If I could create it, yes, I just created a file. So you could use touch to create any file, any sort of file like .txt or any file whichever you feel like. So touch is used to create a file, and that's all to touch. There is nothing much more to touch as well. Close this terminal. Okay, there's nothing much here. So here it is to how to run a binary. So this is something I should be telling you about in detail. So binary is kind of an like for a Windows, the binary is .exe file, which is an executable. In Linux it is known as a binary, just name purposes. So for the current directory, you could either enter the absolute path to run, or you could use the relative path like present working directory. You could use a dot to say present working directory, and then slash to like the directory, and then the directory name, or then the file name. So this is how it works. Double dots for the previous directory and then hello, like this is the file name, and then you could use the user's home directory, which is used with this symbol. I don't know what it's called, but it's just above the tab button on your keyboard if you ever use this. So this, then the slash, and then the file name, or for an absolute file name. So these are incredibly efficient and save time. So it is ls current directory at first. So you could just do these on your own. I don't think I should be telling you these answers. It is very easy and let's not talk about it. So here is the next command. Now that you have learned basic file operations, you can solve the channel. Create a file named loot.txt. Once you are done, run the binary and you will show in the output. Okay, so let's just create a file loot.txt. Then we have to run shiva and press enter. So here is the password. To copy from the like from the terminal, you have to enter Control Shift C and not just Control C, because Control C like interrupts the command or the program which is currently running. So Control C would skip it, and I have like got it in a lot of times while I am working in a shell, and I accidentally press Control C and it like exits out of the shell. So make sure you just go in Linux like with Control Shift C to copy anything and Control Shift V to paste, and this is how it works. So let's just Control L. Okay, let's go to the next. So here we have Shiva. So I have to change, and if you haven't a Shiva, you will become Shiva. Let's switch user. SU stands for switch user. If you have made multiple accounts on your Linux, you could use SU to switch between them, and Shiva 2, and you just got the password from the last, and here we are entering. So we just got in Shiva 2. Earlier we were Shiva 1 at the rate newtoot, now we are Shiva 2 at the rate newtoot. So this is how this thing works. So how do you specify which shell to be used in login? And we would use help. No, we would be doing su dash help. Then these are the commands. So use shell instead of default in password. So let's just try and run it. Switch user dash s, and we would be going like Shiva 2 and the password. Did I copy something else? I guess I did, and or the password was a one-time usage. So this is why it is showing this thing. So you could just do like that. So just like to know about these. And do not reset the environmental variables. This come in handy a lot. So if you have used the like got someone's remote shell and you have set up environmental variables like the path or some custom shortcuts, so to maintain those, when you switch the user, you could be creeping like preserve environment. So this helps to make sure that you like keep those in hand. So this is much. This does not have much about SU. So these are the basic commands and pass command to the invoke shell. So if you do not get a TTY right here like I get, so you could be using just like switch user Shiva 2 and the command, and then if ask for password, just enter the password, and then your command would run like exactly. So let's just do this. We would go back to Shiva 1 and then enter the password Shiva 1. Okay, what is happening? Shiva 1, Shiva 1, long. Okay, here we are. I think this thing sucks, or this thing does something which we have used shell instead of the default password. I don't know what it is. So okay, let's do the my bad. Let's do I switch user. and then the command, and this would pass command like ls, then shiba2. I guess this should work. See, so right here it just ran this, it went to shiba2, and then it ran the command ls, and on entering the password it just showed the result, and here we are back to shiba1. So for example, you get the root access to a file, to a a machine, and then you want to run a command from like from your user account, but you don't know the root password, so that you could come back to root. So you could just use this, and here this way you would be preserving your root account. Also, like in cases where you do not get a TTY after logging in, like special cases, so you could be running this command, so that way you could be getting a lot of help. So you could just write these if you are using like -c, and then the s, I don't know why it is maybe to use something else than bin bash. So you could like just bin sh or bin something else to run apart from bin bash, so that way it is working. I don't know why it was showing authentication failure. So you could be using c, but c is like a useful command. So let's switch user back to shiba2, control shift v to paste, and then you okay. So these are operators which are most commonly used to interact with programs. The operator will cover are greater than, double greater than, and dollar sign. So let's see what all these are for. So greater than is the file operator for output redirection, meaning you can redirect the output of any command to a file. For example, if I were to run echo hello to file, then instead of outputting hello to the console, it would save the output to a file named called file. So this would be lovely to use. So for example, like ls al, and assumingly you want the result to get into a password named result.txt, you could just, okay, I have not created such file first. .txt, okay, let's do it for default.txt, see if we could do it. Okay, we do not have the permissions. Let's go back to my terminal. Let's create a file result.txt, and then ls al, and then we want the result.txt, and then the result cat. So we have the result right in the result.txt file, and not in the like on the terminal. We could refer to it for later purposes or while you are documenting stuff. So you could just create these files so that you have these for further referencing, and you just do not lose it in like traversing. When you get traverse a lot or run a lot of commands, you could be just using this right here greater than sign to put all of the result into a file, whichever file you name. Let's just try if we could do this for a file which is not named, like default rogs.txt. Okay, you could do that if you have the permissions, like just default. So here you have the permission. Okay, I'm gonna just and get back to the shell. So these were like simple commands, and there's nothing much to this symbol. Let's go to the next one, and these are one appends the. Okay, so you could just know about it, so let's do it again. Sorry, I removed it. So if like ls here, like ls all, and then in a result.txt, and then I want to list them as well, so I will be doing list and append to result.txt. Now we go to cat in result. So here it is. It shows me the output from the first command, which was lsa, and then it is showing me the result from the next command, which is lsal. So this is how these commands work, like two greater than signs or single greater than sign. There's nothing much. And then we get to and this works like similar to the and in C or C++ or Python or any other language, boolean based. Double and means two commands which we want both of them should be true. So let's do it. I'll show you. Simple, nothing to it, like ls and both of them will work, and hence you show both of them commands. However, if 1 is less than 5, it would just not mention which command to get, or like side. So it is running the first command but not showing anything else. However, if you do the opposite way, like set add and ls, it would not do anything. So this is how it works. I don't find it anything fun, like which is worth doing it. Okay, so this is the the kind of, okay, zoom way too much. So this is a likely case scenario where you would be using the double greater than sign. To run a single command and get the results first in a file and then catting the file. So if there are errors in executing the first command, you don't want the second, and hence this is how it works. So this is how it is, and let's just move on to the quickly to the next one. And here we have this command. What's the time? Okay, we have 20 minutes. So let's get to task 17, and most likely, and it's always trying to say that and is a background operator. Okay, it's just like it works for me, it works for gedit, like just if you have a file. Okay, we are on my desktop, so let's just gedit results, and let me show you something. So until I close this window, this command would be keep on running. So this is like the default task. So I just close it window about gedit, and then this I got back. But however, if you add at the end, so this is how it is. So this backgrounds the command, and you could just see it made a PID for the particular command, and then came to run more commands. So this is how it works. Works for gedit for me, or you could be using multiple case scenarios. Nothing much interesting or intriguing. So you could use this to just like background the command, or like if it is a continuous command, to run it in the background and get back to your terminal. So this is how it works, and nothing much more. Let's get to user echo $user. So this is again referencing to the bash programming language. So dollar is used to mention about a variable. So like this has been to like I just closed out and echo $web. So there is nothing much to dollar which you would be using in the terminal, like for example right here, but you could be using for declaring variables. Just $sign is used. So like for example, I want to like create a variable var1 equal to var1 plus var2, and there is no command. However, to actually run this, you would we need var1 equals to var1 dollar. So this is just how bash comes to know about that this thing right here needs to point this, or works as a pointer to like get to the value which is stored in var1 and not var1 itself. So this is how bash works, and it is referencing to that itself, and I don't think there's much. This is my favorite operator, like pipe command. It helps you run multiple commands in a single line and concurrently, like the output from this command right here would be passed to this. So this is how it works. So support the pipe, and some that support it require you to use this instead of input. Let me just tell you how I use it. So for example, if we have we had this result file and we want to base encode it, so I would just, there are two ways to do it. Like you could just base 64 and encode result. You could just decode it and encoding, but you do not need anything like base 64 results.txt. You just base 64, or the other way is to results.txt and then pipe and then base 64. Here you get the same output. The way of working is that it cats or like concatenates the contents of this file, then it passes to base 64, and then it does like this. Also, it is useful when you like just like base 64, like cat or no, like x64d and results. I don't think it is listed. Okay, so the result file is not encrypted, so we can turn it to a new file which would be encrypted.txt. So here I just encrypted the results.txt, which would be this, and then use this operator, greater than operator, to put it into encrypted.txt with a typo, so don't mind that. And now just do like base 64d encrypted, my bad about that, I'm sorry, and then like grep something like default for checking. So here we have this file name default.vpn ovpn, and hence we get the result. So this is how pipe command is used to run multiple into same line. So this is how it works. It saves you from creating multiple files for the same, like I would have to decrypt it and then put it into a new file and then grab that file about the word. So instead of doing that, you could just use the pipe command to run multiple commands in the single line. So this is how it works. So let's just quickly move on, and this is the semicolon to like do multiple commands in a single line again. However, it means like not concurrently but different. So this like lets you run these commands concurrently, like first this command runs, then the result is given to this command. However, if you use the semicolon, the both of those commands does not necessarily communicate with each other. Like you could be reading default.vpn, then you on just results.txt, and then you will be see right here, it does not mean anything to both of them. So this is how it works. And then here is the ls, output for the ls. So this is how semicolon works, and you could do this like for an example case scenario, like you have to change directory and then ls. So you could like change directory dot dot and the directory, and finally you press semicolon. Like for example, I have to go to root and then downloads. So dot dot slash dot dot downloads cd dot dot slash downloads, yeah, right here. Then I just send it and then I ls. So it just ls the downloads folder. So this is how you could use this. So pretty useful. So you could just write about that, these symbols and these, all of these. So here is the second binary, just environmental test 1234 exists, set to current user environmental. I think you should be doing this on your own. We just learned about it using the dollar, and I don't think it would be much useful, but let's just do it. So what is it asked for? It won't if the environmental variable test and exists and then sets equal to the current user environmental variable. So like export dollar user to dollar test. So I think that is the command. And okay, this is the wrong terminal. Let's SSH back into Shiba 2. Shiba 2 at the rate 10.10.26 dot 1 bit. Okay. So let's do this, and to set the dollar your dollar export dollar user to dollar test 124, and I think that should work. Let's just run dollar Shiba. Segmentation fault to dump. I just have to read that again. So equals dollar user nationalism. Okay, so here is what we forgot to do. Sorry, we have to do the opposite. Test. So this is the var name, and then the value, which is user. I think Shiba 2 is not a valid identifier, and I think that should have worked right here. Export mathematical text. Okay, so I guess we don't require these. This one right here. Okay, so we just did it. Now let's try .shiba 2, and yes, we just got the password. So this is the command to run export, and this is the variable name, and variable name comes without the dollar because dollar refresh makes the bash program that here is the value of the variable which is storing. So we don't want the value to get another value. Instead we want the variable to get the value stored by the variable user. So hence we use the dollar before the user, and hence the value goes into test1234 and we get the password. So let's just and go to Shiba 2 and password, submit, So I guess guys that's all for today. I'm feeling a lot sleepy. I know this was a bit boring because I was not energetic and things. So from today I would try to get a bit more sleep, and we would try to do the task 22 and onwards tomorrow. And I think there are like 43 tasks. I would try to finish these tomorrow guys, and this is all for today. I think you would go back and try to do all of these commands on your own and try to get some problems. And if you get encounter some problems or use something which you feel like, so just ping us on YouTube itself, or you could go to our connect to our Discord and then message us there. So the Discord link would be in the description I guess, so just go there and do it. So that's all from us guys. Thanks for watching the stream, and please subscribe if you have not yet, and also like the video. Thank you guys.